Welcome to the Wingspan's College Football Playoff Pick'em. I'm Brody Heidemann, joined alongside Peyton Parker and Easton Leahy. And today, we've got a guest picker with us from the football team, running back Mason Gunn, coming in, giving us his insights on his picks. So, let's start it off. The 12 versus the 5, Clemson versus Texas. Personally, I think this is the easiest game to pick in the entire bracket. Clemson, they've been mid all season. Texas has been Texas. Give me Texas. I want to say by 2 touchdowns.
I have to disagree with you, Brody. I think Clemson's going to win this game. Texas has played one good team all season, and they lost. Give me Clemson by 20.
Ooh.
Yeah, despite, what Peyton said, I'm going to have to go with Brody and take the Texas Longhorns. Clemson, they were the last team in the ACC championship with a loss from Miami to Syracuse. Give me the Longhorns.
Yeah, it's an easy one. Definitely got to go Texas. Clemson's a couple bums. Not a great team. Cade Klubnik's not great. Texas is looking good. Definitely got to go with the Longhorns. Hook 'em. You know what I'm saying?
9 versus the 8 seed, Tennessee, Ohio State. Man, Ohio State thought they were going to have a way higher seed and then just end of the season. Michigan, man, kind of exposing them, but I think they regroup. I think Jeremiah Smith, he's so young, but he's so good. Give me Ohio State in this matchup.
Yeah, once again, I don't really see the Tennessee hype, to be honest. I think Ohio State goes in, wins pretty big. I think Quinshon Judkins has a big game. I think Will Howard will figure it out. Give me Ohio State. I'm going to give a score prediction on this one.
Ooh.
42-14.
Wow.
Well, that's a big blow up, but I don't have to disagree with both of them. Give me the Tennessee Volunteers. I feel like they've been kind of proven themselves all season long, knocked off Alabama at home. And I think Ohio State, they're kind of shaky, at the shoe. Barely beat Nebraska, who's, in my opinion, isn't that great. Lost to Michigan, obviously. Give me the Vols.
Yeah, after last week, getting, ran all over by whoever, plays running back at Michigan that ain't Donovan Edwards. I definitely got to say that Dylan Simpson's going to run through Ohio State. I got Tennessee in this one.
I like that. I do agree. I think Dylan Simpson's going to go off, but Ohio
SEC Player of the
State.
Year.
Ohio State, man. Ryan Day, he's got a lot to prove this offseason. That's all I'll say. The 11 versus the 6, SMU versus Penn State. SMU sneaking in a lot of questions on if they even should be in the playoffs over Alabama. I think they should. But Penn State, coming off a big game against Oregon in the Big Ten championship game, I think this is going to be a lethal team. They have the home field advantage. This is going to be a big game for Penn State. Give me Penn State. I'm going to say by 2 touchdowns in this one.
Yeah, I think they just ran into a track meet at Oregon. Nobody's going to beat that team trying to outscore them. But other than that, they had a pretty good season overall. Only lost to Ohio State? Yeah, give me Penn State.
Yeah, I'm going to have to agree with Peyton. I'm also going to keep this really short and sweet. Yeah, you're not really going to outscore one of the best offenses in the entire country in Oregon, so give me the Nittany Lions.
Yeah, I'm gonna cap it off by saying it's for sure going to be Penn State. SMU's an okay team, but I just don't think they can handle Penn State and how good their offense is.
Now we got the Battle of Indiana. Indiana versus Notre Dame. The 10 versus 7. Indiana, Cinderella season. Only one loss in the season to Ohio State, but kind of showed what this team is made of in Notre Dame. They had an early loss to Northern Illinois, and since then they are absolutely destroying every team. And Riley Leonard is arguably, if not the best, dual threat quarterback in the country. Give me Notre Dame, and I don't think this one's going to be close. Again, I think this is going to be a huge blowout week 1.
Have you Googled Kirk Cignetti? What does he do? He wins. Give me Indiana.
Yeah, you talk about Curtis O'Rourke from Indiana. That dude can slang it over there. Over 30 passing touchdowns this season with only 5 interceptions. Yeah, he did kind of look shaky against Indiana. You can call it a 16-point loss, but you got to look at their special teams. 2 fumbles on the goal line that led to touchdowns. Give me the Hoosiers.
Yeah, I think it's all going to come down to Jeremiah Love, star running back for Notre Dame. He's got 134 carries for 950 yards and 15 touchdowns, averaging a little over 7 yards per carry. I think it's going to be a great game for him.
Now we go on to the second round of matchups as we're going to get a little different than the first round where everyone has the same. It's going to be a little bit different. My 5 versus the 4, Texas versus Arizona State, and this is where Peyton kind of said Texas isn't really all that good. I agree. I think Arizona State's going to run all over them. Cam Scatabo is going to go off. Sam Levitt going to go off. Dillingham, send him to the semifinals.
Yep, I got Clemson versus Arizona State, excuse me. Different from everybody else, but I also have Arizona State winning. I think Cam Scatabo is a real difference maker, and I don't think Clemson has the defense to stop him.
I have Arizona State and the Longhorns. Give me Arizona State. Cam Scatabo, just broke an Arizona State record with most rushing touchdowns in a single season. If it weren't for Ashton Genty, he'd be running back of the year. Give me the Sun Devils.
I got Texas versus Arizona State here. I think Cam Scatabo's a bum. I think him in the Heisman pose near the end of that game was just very funny to me. And him after the game saying that he's the best running back in the country is hilarious. The man does nothing that we haven't seen before. He's a bum. He's trash. Give me Texas.
I don't mind that. He is not the best running back. I will say that, and we're going to move on. We'll see who I think the best running back is in 2 rounds. But the next matchup for me, Oregon versus Ohio State, and this is where I think madness is going to start. Ohio State, going up against Oregon earlier in the season, almost won that one. I think Oregon got lucky not seeing them in the Big Ten championship again, but also Ohio State got lucky because if they were going to have to play them 3 times this season, I think would have gone to Oregon in that 3rd game. But this 2nd game, give me Ohio State. I think they learn from their mistakes and they move on.
I think Ohio State's going to come into this one angry. I think they're going to try and battle at the line of scrimmage. I think they're going to win at the line of scrimmage. But Oregon is going to throw the ball over their secondary. Give me Oregon.
Yeah, so I have Tennessee and the Ducks. Last time a Big Ten team faced off against an SEC team in the Rose Bowl, a Big Ten team came out on top. Last season, Michigan defeated Alabama in the college football playoff semifinal. I think the trend continues. Give me the Ducks over Tennessee in this one.
Oregon is a great team, and I have them playing Tennessee in the 2nd round. But let me tell you this. Ashton Genty, great running back. 169 yards and 3 touchdowns against them the first time they played them. But guess what? The SEC Offensive Player of the Year is coming in to Eugene for this game. And Dylan Simpson is going to run all over that Oregon defense. I don't care what you say. Give me Tennessee.
I don't want to break it to you, but this game is being played at the Rose Bowl.
I don't care where it's being played.
Not in Oregon.
Doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Okay, we're moving on. Next matchup. For me, it's Penn State versus Boise State. And this is where I think, again, madness ensues 2nd round. Boise State, I think Ashton Genty is going to go crazy. He's going to have lost the Heisman. He's going to have lost all these awards. He's going to be mad. I think he's going to run all over Penn State. Give me Boise State somehow moving on to the semifinals.
Yeah, Brody, I think we're going to have to disagree on this one. I don't think Boise State's defense is going to stop the Penn State offense at all. I think Penn State will turn this into a shootout like we saw in the Big Ten playoffs, and give me Penn State.
Famously, Boise State's defensive coordinator, former Nebraska defensive coordinator, Eric Shenander. All I'm going to say.
I kind of see where Brody's coming with this Bronco pick, but I got to take Penn State. I mean, you talk about Ashton Genty. Yes, he's amazing. He's doing something we've never seen before out of a running back. Yes, he almost defeated one of the best teams in the country in Oregon, like only by himself. But like Peyton said, their defense cannot handle the shootout that Penn State's going to give them. Give me the Nittany Lions.
Ashton Genty's averaging just under 200 yards a game. He's going to come off the Heisman Trophy win. But guess what? Penn State's offense, way too much for Boise State. How can you go and allow so many points to a bunch of, G5 teams? That's weird. You know what I'm saying? So I think that Boise State may score a lot of points, and Ashton Genty may just break Barry Sanders' record. But give me Penn State in this one.
And now we go on to the final round of the 2nd round. Excuse me. My pick is Georgia versus Notre Dame, and Georgia. They might be on their 3rd-string quarterback in this game, and I think Notre Dame should just easily run away with this one. Again, they have been playing amazing. That's all I'm going to say. Riley Leonard destroys them.
I don't know if this is crazy to say or not, but I think Georgia is a better team with Carson Beck sitting. He is not a viable option in the SEC anymore after this season, I don't think. And with that being said, I think Indiana's magic continues. I think they advance to the round of 4.
Yeah, I think Georgia's just without Carson Beck. I mean, there's just too much in question. Give me Indiana moving on to the Capital One Orange Bowl.
I got to say, coming off that SEC championship win against Texas, they're looking great at the moment. I think Notre Dame is also a great team, but I think that my boy Jeremiah Love will get shut down in this game because guess what? They lost to NIU NIU, that's a terrible squad. Shout out to Coach Haberman. All I'm saying is they're not going to be able to handle what Georgia's coming with. Give me Georgia.
And now we head on to the semifinals. For me, Arizona State versus Ohio State. And Ohio State, again, Ryan Day, he has got a lot to prove. And I think Ryan Day is going to do just that. Take his team on to the championship match for the first time as a head coach. Give me Ryan Day and the Buckeyes taking home this one.
My matchup, Arizona State versus Oregon. I think this one's pretty simple. I don't think Arizona State's defense holds up. Give me Oregon again.
Yeah, I had Oregon and Arizona State. Once again, Arizona State's defense kind of in question. Oregon's just going to be – this is going to be a shootout. I mean, you got one of the top running backs against one of the top quarterbacks. I think it's going to be a run and pass. Give me the Ducks.
You know, I got an SEC battle here in the semifinal. I got Tennessee versus Texas. And let me tell you something here. Dylan Simpson's been doing amazing so far in the playoff. But guess what? He's going to run into a brick wall against Texas. Freshman Colin Simmons is going to put on an absolute showcase. He's going to get all over Nico Iloa. I don't care. Guess what? Give me Texas.
That takes us on to the bottom side of the semifinals where I have Boise State versus Notre Dame. And this is where I think Ashton Genty finally gets shut down. I think Notre Dame's going to just continue this magic. I think Marcus Freeman is going to prove why he is a way better coach than Brian Kelly in this game and why Notre Dame made one of the biggest mistakes in the past 10 years. Give me Notre Dame to the chip.
You all might call me crazy. Penn State versus Indiana. Kirk Cignetti, I already said it once. Google his name. He knows how to win big games. Indiana to the college football playoff national championship.
I'm going to keep this one simple. Give me the Nittany Lions.
All right. So now I got Georgia versus the Penn State Nittany Lions. Now let me tell you something here. Penn State's offense is so electric. They got the MAC award-winning tight end, whatever his name is. I don't really care. But guess what? It's an SEC Big Ten battle. Penn State's going to come out and score early. It's going to be a low-scoring game. After that, they're going to get into the fourth quarter, and guess what? Penn State wins because Georgia sucks.
And now we get to the championship game. I have Ohio State versus Notre Dame. This is going to be a huge matchup for both these teams, the 7 versus the 8. I think Notre Dame wins this one, which is crazy to say. I wouldn't have said that earlier on in the season. I think Notre Dame pulls this one out. I think it's going to be crazy. The Irish somehow pull it off.
Oregon versus Indiana. Two Titans in the Big Ten clashing on the biggest stage. You know what else? Kirk Cignetti wins on the biggest stage. Give me Indiana!
Bunch of JMU bums.
Yeah, I have two Big Ten teams meeting, a rematch from this year's Big Ten championship at Lucas Oil Stadium. This time we're playing at Mercedes-Benz in Atlanta, Georgia. Man, this is going to be a shootout. Offense versus offense. No defense going to be played in this one. I have a big one. 49-41. Give me the Ducks hoisting their first championship ever.
You know, I don't know how it came to this point, but I have an SEC versus Big Ten battle. I got Texas versus the Nittany Lions and Penn State. Now, guess what? People say that Big Ten ball is a little bit different than SEC. They say SEC is a little bit faster, and I believe that Texas does have the speed with Isaiah Bond and company. But guess what? I got a feeling here that Texas is going to blow out Penn State. 55-14. Guess what? Hook 'em.
Wow. I can't say I agree. I mean, we all gave very differing brackets, and I mean, this is a very differing opinions. But that has been the Gretny's Media College Football Playoff Pick'ems, where we brought on our guest picker, Mason Gunn, running back for the Griffins here. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you next week when we have our college football bowl game pick'em.